As good as this truck's been for the last 2 years, 80,000 miles, there is a serious electrical issue that we need to talk about that I've learned that a lot of other people have as well with this vehicle. And it has to do with the infotainment system. There are times when you just can't press any button. Everything freezes. You can't do anything or turn off the volume or turn on the radio or take a phone call or anything like that. So I'm going to show you a couple quick, easy fixes that you can do that don't require you to go to the dealership, and you have two options on how to resolve the issue when it does, or if it pops up in the first place. But before we dive into the fixes and the how-tos, let's do a quick overview of the truck, bring you all up to speed if you're not familiar with the channel or what I've done to this point. It's a 2021 GMC Sierra 1500. It is the Elevation package with the 5.3 liter V8. It does have the X31 off-road package. They just gets you a couple goodies. It's not an AT4, but you get a few good things on here. I have put on a 2-inch leveling kit in the front. I've got a video out there about that. I have larger tires. They're 275/70 R18. The Falcons are a little bit bigger than a 33. For the most part, that measures to be a 33, but I think these are like a 33.5 or 6, so you get a little extra height out of these. We have done a cold air intake by S&B. We blacked out the badges. It's a little dirty from work, but for the most part, you know, a few interior accessories. A GM factory sub has been installed because this does not have the Bose sound system in it. Everything's color matched. Elevation's a great trim. The only thing it doesn't have is a center console and leather. Outside of that, you still have seat heaters, and I mean, you really don't need some of those higher end packages. If I'd put leather in this and got the Bose sound system, you'd be pretty darn close to having a higher end one without spending the extra $20,000-$30,000. Let's dive in at this point. Let's go to the electrical system and talk about what this video is all about. You're in your truck, it's running, and you are having the issue right now. It's obviously fixed and things are working fine again. But when you're having this issue, you want to try first, of course, turning off and turning on your truck. Don't just go drive straight to the dealership. However, you don't just want to turn it off and then turn it right back on, because technically the truck and the electrical system is still on. Make sure you open your door. That will help reset it. Get out of the truck, shut the door, leave it alone for a few minutes. I've heard 15, 30 minutes, whatever. At least give it a minute or two before you come back in and try to restart it. Make sure everything turns off altogether. And for me, that fixes this most of the time. Now, this doesn't happen that often, and I'll talk about the second way to fix it if turning on and off doesn't work here in just a second. But my trigger for me to have this issue occur is when my truck has to multitask, usually right when I turn it on. So when I turn on the truck, and in this case a couple days ago, I threw it in reverse, and I got a phone call coming in at the same time through the truck. That threw everything off. And the other times it's happened, it's been a multitasking situation where two things are happening that aren't normally happening at the same time, and it just freezes everything. So it's not anything crazy, but if you're not ready for it, radio won't turn off, or trying to have an important conversation or work calls. It can be really frustrating to try to figure out what to do and how to fix it. So the second way to fix this, and probably the most common way to fix it, is to disconnect your battery. You can go ahead and disconnect your negative battery terminal, leave it disconnected for 15 or 20 minutes, reconnect it, and it should be working after that. And if it's not working after you disconnect the battery, you're probably gonna have to go to the dealership. But just remember, when you disconnect this, you're gonna lose radio presets, you're gonna lose anything that you have saved. Maybe it saves, but most of the time when I've done this, it resets everything. So just be mindful of that. It's not the end of the world, but it is an inconvenience when you get it back in if you were not expecting that to happen. The all-important question is, would I still buy this truck given the electrical issues that have been occurring? And the simple answer is yes. I would absolutely buy it again. These issues aren't that hard to fix. I think a lot of people on the internet make this sound a lot worse than it actually is, because they have something to complain about and talk about. But the reality is it's really such a small issue in the grand scheme of things. You know, I'm not losing transmissions, I'm not losing differentials or something expensive or significant like that. These are just easy, quick fixes, and there's so many electronics in these vehicles now, you kind of have to expect it. I don't think there's any manufacturer that is immune from little electrical issues like this. If this sounds like something that you don't want to put up with at all, granted it's only happened a few times in 80,000 miles, you don't want electrical issues, go with more of a base model truck that has less of this. You can go a step down below elevation and get the Pro Edition. And that's about as basic as it can possibly get. These things can absolutely still happen, but you don't have 1,000 microchips in there like an AT4X. Pick your battles, pick what you want, just enjoy whatever you buy, but don't get stressed out when you have issues with any of this stuff, because a lot of times there's a simple solution, or it's a reflashing at the dealership, or reprogramming, or an update, or something like that. So, but let me know down below, what issues have you had with your GMC? Has it been electrical, mechanical, something else altogether? Coming up next, we got parts and accessories for that Tundra, so stick around, subscribe, so that way you can get notified when those videos drop. But we'll see you on the next one. Peace.